Hey everybody. Doing a quick sound check here. It looks like we got a few people here already.
Sounds good.
Alright, sounds good. Cool. So we're gonna get started pretty quickly here. There's a couple that are ending that I thought were kind of neat, and they're showing like kind of what happens in the last little bit on a smaller scale of a auction, and you can see that it's not just you see things ending kind of low. If you might think that they're ending kind of low if you're tuning in maybe even 10 minutes before, but they can kind of explode. So okay, let's go ahead and get started here.
Click on the right one.
I don't know if I did or not. This one?
It's the top one, I think.
Okay,
Yes.
There we go. I'm still a bit of a boomer when it comes to this stuff, so. But yeah, there's this banana black pastel clown right off the bat. I actually missed the Wookiee clown, unfortunately, jumping in here. Let me refresh, make sure it's actually missed, because they'll say ended. That is. You can see this one when I first loaded this page up. This was, I think it was around 100 or 200 or something like that, and it's already started to kind of creep up there. So yeah, I mean, since I clicked on it, there you go, 450, and it resets it. So you're gonna see a bit of a bidding war occur right here. So these are really cool if you're just talking about the snake in general. I have a banana het black pastel banana black pastel het clown. Said that all weird. But I've had that one for a while, and she went on a pretty long fast. So but I can't wait to start creating the visual versions of it with a lot of other genetics at play too. So but yeah, we can kind of maybe peek at this one every now and again, just see what it ends at, right? So not to try to, usually I don't try to keep this all about monetary and stuff like that, but it is an interesting factor. And then heck, if you're interested, I mean, you could add to that little experiment, right? So a lot of people don't really stick around to see that, or maybe they snipe one, kind of get one that goes unnoticed. So but we're gonna keep moving on here. It says 21 seconds left. I don't think that's the case. Yeah, because it already got reset. Let's check it out. Yeah, so you can see the main page is not synced up to what it actually is at right now. So and then you can kind of see that some have ended after it even. So kind of moving along here. Let's see, do I have access to the chat here, by the way?
Should. I'm not sure. I'll tell him I'll say if there's anything.
Okay. Hope everybody's doing well today, though. So, like I said, we're going to try to make this a semi-regular thing. And Tuesdays seem to work out pretty good. And so we have our pre-tape one that we put up on Fridays already. So it's kind of pointless to go live over the weekend. So there's not as many this week, by the way. Just 6 pages. I think we had like over 10 last time because there was a bunch of breeders. That's not the case this week. So moving along here, though, I really was interested in this one. I know Batman has kind of come down in price, but being a stranger cinnamon, I think you're going to see a little bit more interest in this one. This male here is going to be able to get that stranger gene through to everything. So it looks like it does have a little its tail, is that? Oh yeah, it's a little deviated, a little interesting there. Usually comes to more of a point that can actually prick you a little bit, but that wouldn't affect him in any way. It's good that they show it though. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff you can do with, I mean, stranger has come down in price quite a bit, I think, but there's a lot you can do with it. I actually think that the clown, or not the clown, but the Batman version of this, in a way, kind of takes away what Stranger does, just a bit. So I actually would rather it not be. I don't know if that's Stranger or whatnot, but look at the little dot on the forehead. It's like a perfect little dot. Somebody hit it with a Sharpie or something like that. So, but the power here is what I'm kind of trying to highlight. Like I said, that Stranger gene has come down quite a bit in price, but it doesn't change how cool it is and what you can do with it. We have a Stranger yellow belly het clown here that we really love. It's a wonderful example of Stranger. So just a lot of potential there. If you wanted to get into that more, if you could breed it to quite a bit of your collection there. So okay. Here's a nice looking one right here. I'm gonna start doing this so that we I don't lose the main page. So this one does not. Looks like it's got half a day right from right now. Just $55 right now, and acid is really where I think this would be cool. So obviously a lot of people see acid with the clowns and whatnot, and it makes sense. It works very well with it, with the pattern and everything, but it can work well with a lot of different things. And hypo is, in my opinion, not anymore. Maybe it's starting to come back and get a lot of resurgence. But it felt like when I got into this, anyways, people were really ignoring it, and I had heard things, even people saying that it was like an old gene. Like it's too old. It's been done too much, and that doesn't make any sense to me. Pied is old, and it's everywhere. So hypo is awesome. And I think it's had a really great resurgence now that it's being coupled with a lot of these newer genetics out there, and you're starting to see it be used even with Desert Ghost. It just adds to it. A lot of people thought maybe they'd wash each other out, but they just complement each other so well. But this would be a good one. Acid is just a really cool gene. Just messes everything up. Just very chaotic. What it does, kind of in that line of like the confusion. When you get these into clown, at least, I'm not sure about them by themselves, but I love the belly pattern they will get sometimes. So, all right, let's take a look at this one. It says it's ended. Do we believe that though? It is. All right. Well, we kind of saw it was probably it ended probably at that 450 mark. And when I saw it, when we first started, getting ready for the stream, it was easily in the 200s. So they climb in that last little bit of time. You can probably just expect it. Not everyone in the exact same way, but Banana Black Pastel has a lot of interest. You just see these just cool lavenders, and they hold this. Mine's gonna be able to breed this year, and it's not even a clown, and it has these cool like lavenders kind of running through it still to this day. So alrighty, we're gonna go. Oh no, we are not gonna go down to the next page. I didn't know that one was this soon, honestly. Everybody knows I love Monarch. So here's a really good potential to just start making Monarchs right off the bat. No reserve. It's a Het Monarch Super Enchi. Looks like it's a proven breeder, obviously, with the eggs. It's possible Het Pied. Now, I don't know how many times this one's been bred. It doesn't give you that information, and I don't know what to say, whether you could rule out the Het Pied or not, but you could always send in a shed test, depending on that. So the Super Enchi means it will always pass on one copy of the Enchi gene, and if you breed it to a visual Monarch, well, then you're always going to get minimum Het Monarch, and 50% of the time you're going to get visual Monarchs, which means they'd all be Enchi Monarchs, which is cool. I actually prefer the dark side of the Monarchs, quite frankly. I think Enchi Monarchs are cool, don't get me wrong, but I think it like brightens it up. I think this orange, which serves Enchi so well, and so it's so well known for this, kind of combats, in my opinion, what I like to see from the Monarch. Now, don't get me wrong, Monarch does lights and darks incredibly well. The contrast is king on that. It's so beautiful. But I kind of prefer the darker base, if that makes sense. I feel like the Enchi kind of steals away from those lavender purples just a bit, but it does it well. It's a different flavor from what I personally like. It doesn't change the fact that the power is really on show in terms of what you could immediately start doing. A proven breeder Het Monarch, if you have a visual Monarch, or even a Het Monarch, not ideal, but you can get a male up to size a lot quicker, and you can get your female up to size, and this one's already pretty much ready to go. If it has just laid, obviously you're going to need to wait a little bit of time, but it's going to be ready to go within a season for sure. Well, I shouldn't say for sure. You never know. I mean, they skip all the time, right? It's not super common, but I mean, they occasionally will skip a year or so, and so you can't buy this and just assume next season for sure you're getting eggs. There's a lot that can maybe stop that from happening, but either way, you're a lot sooner than buying a hatchling. Let's just leave it at that. Even if you have to go head to head to save some money, again, not crazy ideal, but it's still a valid thing you could do and start making Monarchs for a lot cheaper than you're going to do if you buy it at market price or even on the auction, quite frankly. So a good potential one here. And you know I love Monarch. I absolutely have thought about this one. It's just the Enchi, I think, is going to keep me from kind of throwing my hat in on that one. So all right. Hey, we just made, well, not the Candino, but I'll be making some of these later. So Striker. Okay, I saw this one when I was going through earlier. This is a very, very interesting one to talk about. So let's do it. Seeing this right here, you might not think a whole bunch. I mean, obviously the pattern is pretty cool. The pastel, though, most people, you know, have their opinions about pastel, whatever. There is a reserve price on this one, but Striker is very, very, very interesting. There are a lot of people out there that will tell you that Striker is the same as another gene. But let's just talk about this first. The Striker kind of reduces the pattern, creates these bands and such. And it's even more so in the Super Striker. It's absolutely insane. So, oh yeah, forgot I'm gonna have to get used to doing this. So, if you see us take a break, I'm trying to look up things. So I'm trying to look up the Super Striker for you, so you can see what that looks like. But we actually have a Striker here. It's a Striker Het Hypo. I believe he's pastel as well. So, all right, let's go ahead and bring this one on over. So there is your Super Striker. Very awesome, right? That just creates these like bands just going over the top. Very, very awesome snake to look down on. And when you're thinking about presentation style, whether you're at a show or how you're normally looking at your animal, you're normally looking down on them. That is typically what you're doing. You're usually over top them, whether they're in a case or a tub or whatnot. You're looking down on them rather than the sides. And a lot of have wonderful side patterns, but maybe the dorsal is just kind of plain. That's not the case with the Striker. It's very cool to look down on, so therefore it makes a great display snake. So I mentioned earlier that a lot of people think that maybe this is actually the same as another gene. And that one, and there's no proof on this. It's just, this is just, nobody's actually done the pairing to prove it, or there's not been any genetic testing on this particular thing yet. But you can kind of see some similarities, and maybe they are, maybe they aren't. But we're talking about the zebra here. So you can see the similarities between these two. Why can I not get this screen to...
What are you trying to do?
There we go.
Oh.
So you can kind of see the banding going around the sides, going over the top of it. Just a very striking animal. Very cool and unique. And you're kind of seeing a very similar thing here. So if they are not genetically the same, which they could very well easily not be, it doesn't really matter. They're both incredible, and they both you know, a lot of people worry about that. It's like, oh, if it's the same, it's going to affect the price. And when I'm not worried about price personally, I don't care so much about that. And I also don't understand the concerns when people would say that, and and everybody can have their opinion on that, but I think that if anything, they would complement each other, and if anything, they just help each other. There's not a lot of either of these out there, so I think that it is absolutely incredible. It doesn't really matter to me if they're the same. I just think that they do similar things, and I'm happy to be working this project myself. So I'm immediately trying to get this, well, into Monarch, because I'm going to try to get everything into Monarch. But they do really cool things, and that boy there would be able to breed that to everything. So Striker is not it's not a recessive. It's a incomplete dominant, obviously, because it has a super form. So if someone were to get this boy, if they were to beat the reserve price and get this boy here, they would be able to breed this into their entire collection quite easily. 50% of the time that gene would pass on, and then within 3 years, if you get a female from that pairing, you'd be able to create Super Strikers very, very quickly. Well, 3 years, I guess. It's not quickly, but, all things considered, on that project being very ground floor, would be very ideal and very cool. Now, I don't know if this reserve price is going to be met. I have my my doubts on that. It just depends, really. I mean, I don't know what they set it at. It is a valuable project, though. So I feel like people will see this, not understand what the striker is, and pass on it, and it will stay as a lower bid. But I could be wrong. It definitely deserves it. I love this gene a lot, and there's a lot of potential to do some really cool things with it. So I had to show that one off, and then tell a little cool story about people thinking that they're the same gene as the zebra. So, alrighty. These ones from, I like these ones from Masma Reptiles. There's a few of them up here. No interest in bids right now, and they're under a day right now from when they expire. So an Orange Dream Enchi Pastel Fire, possible Yellow Belly Pied. A lot going on there, but this is these genes work very well together. The Orange Dream Enchi, Yellow Belly. I mean, anything with pied in those, that is incredible. I would probably say it is Yellow Belly. Just given what I'm seeing here, it kind of disrupts the pattern and creates these blocky edges and whatnot. I would definitely say it is. But if you wanted to be sure, you could always send in a shed test. I mean, that could affect what you breed it to. If it is Yellow Belly, I highly don't recommend, if you were to pick up this female, breeding a Yellow Belly to her. You don't want to get the ivory with all that power. It would kind of just definitely mask it up. So a girl with this is really, really nice. Could do a lot of cool stuff. If you wanted to work that sort of line of the projects, I would immediately try to get this into some of those lavender projects. Try to create the dreamsicles with all this power in there too. So that could be a route you go to. And this one's just cool. It's just a super inchy clown. Again, a possible Yellow Belly. This one might be a little bit harder to be for sure on, but I'd say again, it's kind of sharp. So I've made stuff like this before, but the super inchy clowns always end up looking so nice. The head pattern just being super unique, and they're not incredibly difficult to make. Females like this obviously will always pass. Well, anything would pass on the inchy if it's super inchy. Every single time you breed it. So that if you wanted to work those projects, I think that the inchy clowns are just always going to be a really simple but awesome combo that you can always create. This one will be a little bit of a shorter because there isn't as much. So we're already getting almost to the halfway mark. Pretty soon I'm gonna have to pull out the Hognoses. So. And by the way, we are working on getting a webcam. Let's take a look at this one here. This one from Royal Constrictor Designs. There is another reserve price on this, but you get a pair of them. You can kind of see what normally they would be priced at. It's, again, difficult to say what the reserve price will be, but I mean, Garrick just got done doing a 50% off sale, so I wouldn't be surprised if it's even lower than that, quite frankly. The male has some good size. It's a male Krypton pied, which Krypton, by the way, is a allelic combo. It is het cryptic and het clown, so it creates this allelic combination, kind of similar to how the Candino works. So this one has quite a bit of power to it. So it is basically a pied het cryptic het clown by all definitions. It just has a visual example, and there's a lot of different things it does. One of which being it messes with the eye stripes. It kind of thins them out, or in some cases I've seen where it just almost evaporates them. So it's very interesting. And then the female is a pastel clown, 100% het pied. So there's the combo here, and she's about a third of the way to where she would need to be. So again, no idea where the reserve price would be, but if you want a 2-for-1 deal, this would be a good way to do it. And if you hear my dog barking, unfortunately this is live. We can't edit that out this time. We'll Wookiee banana clown. We just made banana clowns. I'm so happy with them. Oops, spoiled the video coming up in 2 weeks. Oh well. You got something to look forward to. They are awesome. They are so awesome. Couple weeks, I think it is. We're gonna have the video out. They're already out. Hopefully by then they should be shed out and everything, so we can have an update at the end of the video too. But I am super excited to show them. They're not just banana clowns. I'll just say that. So, but yeah, Wookiee is a really great gene that you can get this into your projects, especially with banana clowns. One of the staples for this. A lot of people will tell you that they got into clowns because of, they got into ball pythons because of banana clowns. I'm kind of one of those. Just in general, I mean, I've always loved reptiles and weird things like that. But I actually started off with frogs and turtles when I was a little kid. Didn't do the snakes until much later. But the banana clowns, when I started seeing them, I was just like, I want to make these because they were so expensive when I started. I was like, I am not buying this. But they will always be really cool, and there's no reserve on this. So if you want to work the Wookiee banana, like Wookiees, bananas, clowns, this would be a great way to do it. Wookiee has a lot of potential to it as well. Another good breeder this would be coming from as well. The only thing with this is that being a male, it's very likely a male maker, which means that all the time you hit banana, 95% of the time roughly, you're going to be hitting males. So just something to know. Not that that's a bad thing, but it's something to know. It definitely can be frustrating in some cases if you're trying to reproduce it into a female. That's going to be very difficult to do, but still awesome stuff you're making. Alrighty.
Our viewership shot up for a moment when you spoiled that.
Okay. Shot up because of that. I'm sure everybody tuned in just to hear about what video I got coming out in a week or two. This is cool. I love blackhead, so when you get the blackhead and the black pastel together, that is not a combo that causes issues to my knowledge anyway. If I'm speaking wrong, please let me know, but I do not. I'm almost positive that there's no issues like you get when you go black pastel to black pastel, or cinnamon, or cinnamon black pastel. You can get kinking, some other things, not super duper common, but more common than not. But the blackhead and black pastel do not do that. I've actually heard some crazy rumors. They're just rumors right now because I haven't confirmed them. I don't even like saying this, but I already started, so I gotta finish it. I've heard that people have put blackhead to spider, and like they wash each other out, and it just eliminates the wobble. That's some people have reported doing that. I don't have any information to prove that, but that would be very cool, right? So, and I believe it's in the same combo. I think blackhead is technically in the same family. It's like an allelic combo. At least that's what people have said. I do not know if that's true. Just thought I'd pass it along. Anyways, talking about the snake here, just incredibly dark animal, and this is really cool. So she could potentially be bred to a lot of different things if you wanted to create just more dark snakes. Now granted, I would like her to have a het, but you could, at least for if I was going to bring her on board, but you could kind of start with something like this, and it would be a really good striking animal to start creating snakes. So it's not everything is for everybody. When I show this, an established breeder's probably not going to look at this and go, well, I have a lot of use. I don't really have a lot of use for that. But that's not everybody. Some people are getting into this and kind of learning, but they, who says that just because you want to learn and you want to start short or kind of small, or you don't have a whole bunch of funds to throw at this, that you can't still make really cool things. And this would be a good way to do that. Lots of really dark combos that you can create with an animal like this. If I had this animal, I'd immediately start working it into these genes, at least into other recessives, But definitely cool. Good amount of interest for an animal with no hets, probably just because it's a big proven breeder girl. Again, from another reputable breeder. So, all right. So I want to start looking at the hogs real quick. It won't take long because there's not a whole bunch. Just like there's really never a whole bunch of Hognoses on. It's been lower lately. Usually it's like double this amount, but obviously not even a full page. But let's see here. High expression Arctic 100% het albino. That is a female, so that'd be kind of neat. There is a reserve on this though. Albino is one of my favorites in Hognoses. I actually personally, I don't even think it's close. I think the albino, at least the base albino, I'm not talking about lavender albino or any of the T+, the base albino gene versus the ball python albino gene in versus Hognoses versus ball pythons. I think that Hognoses blow it away. They're very rich in saturated colors. But this one is 100% het. And being in a female, you could start working on getting a male that's 100% het, and maybe get the Arctic in it too, and get the super Arctic albinos. That's just a lot of potentials you could do with something like that. So, and then speaking of albinos, you can kind of see some of them here, including the sunburst. Sunburst. Oops. Accidentally liked it. We'll leave the like. It's fine. Sunbursts have a lot of contrast to them with a kind of almost gray or lavender background. Very, very cool. But they are probably one of the more sought after and popular morphs, so that's why you're going to see some pretty big prices on those. So that's why I'm trying to make them, and I didn't buy them. So that's a lot of my projects right now for Hognoses anyways, but I'm not really close to even breeding them yet. I'm raising them all up. So this one's Sub-Zero. What the heck? The Super Arctic Albino. I don't know if that's the actual official nickname, but that's what I was talking about making earlier. It's like almost like a lavenderish type snake with a little bit of pinks creeping in there. Almost looks like it's like glowing in a way. So, and then last one we'll look at is this Toxic Conda. A very, very nice one. I think that the Exantic has done quite well as well in Hognoses, and they don't seem to really fade out when they grow older. They don't change really as much as like the bull pythons do. But Exantic, Toffee Belly, those are both recessives, and the Conda brings in more of these like dot patterns, kind of like an anaconda type pattern, which is where it gets its name from, of course. But the silver is just so nice on this one here, and I really love their bellies on a lot of these. So lots of cool ones, lots of reserve prices though this week it seems. So and that's what we'll highlight for the hogs, and we'll go ahead and move right on back into the ball pythons here.
I was trying to send you the link to the chat, but it just won't let me do it.
Oh, for up here? Last week it worked. I don't know.
We'll get it. It's supposed to show him chat in the streaming software, but it's just not for some reason.
Yeah. So obviously my brother here has to handhold me because I'm such a boomer. I don't know how to work any of this stuff apparently. I kind of do. I just wouldn't be as good. Yeah, we're still kind of working out the kinks and whatnot. Unfortunately, YouTube doesn't really have a system where you can just test it out. You gotta go live, and then it's so it's just, and it's something new for us. Obviously, like I said, we're gonna be working on getting a webcam of sorts in here. I don't know why I said of sorts. It's a webcam, right? But for now, let's just go ahead and get right back into these. That's interesting. 4 male het sunsets. The male is obviously for a sunset. They're going to be cheap if you get a het, just in really in a lot of genes, because it's not as ideal. You want the male to be visual because you're going to breed him every single time, and well, that increases your chances of failing. If you were going to buy into sunset, and the males and the females, I can't remember if they're the same price right now, but they are basically the same price for monarchs. So maybe they are, maybe they aren't. But when I got into monarch, I started with a visual male, because to me it just didn't make any sense to spend the same price on a visual female when I could buy the het female for much, much cheaper. Because as I go along, I'll buy more females, obviously. I'm not going to buy as many visuals because it's not economically as well, sound. The male will be able to breed to every single one of those females, versus if I get one female that's visual and then I get a male that's a het, and the same thing goes with the sunsets here, it's going to be a lot more expensive to keep buying a bunch of visual females, and I'm going to have the exact same chances breeding that male. So what's the point, right? So I often say it's actually a male game. Pay the big money on the male. You'll have more females, and don't cheap out on them for sure. But if you have to get a het in something and a visual in the other gender, then do the visual in your male, because you'll be able to buy more het females at a cheaper price, and he can go to multiple ones. So just that makes sense. So I mean, if you were really into sunset and you needed a male, this is probably going to go pretty cheap. A lot of that being just because a lot of people see the spider gene and just run. And I'm not going to get into that right now, but it is a fact. Spider, I mean, just from selling things, that whenever I have a couple of them here. I don't really actively try to pursue the project, but I do have two. One not by choice. One was literally inside of a all-white snake and found out when breeding it. And one of them was one of my very first snakes. It was a clown spider, which we call Pennywise. I'll let you figure out why we call her that. But you know, either way, this could be a way that people can get into these pretty cheap. And I don't know what this will end at, but maybe you go in on this with somebody, with a few other people, quite frankly, and you you work this and split the cost and kind of split the amount of snakes that you're getting. And this would be a cheaper way to get into sunset. You get this, you get your het female. You're going head to head, not ideal, but much cheaper if you wanted to work sunset. And this will probably be even more cheap, especially if you split it 4 ways, just because I feel like that spider is going to chase a lot of people away. It just does. Whether you love it, whether you hate it. I'm of the mind where I don't mind it personally, but I actually think it does too much. I think it reduces the pattern too much. So I'm more talking about the pattern wise. I prefer not to work it because of the pattern. I would rather have the pattern show a little bit more than what it does with the spider webs. I think it does too much. It's hard to work with in terms of what you're doing. It dominates quite literally the pattern. So for better or worse. Let's see. This one's really nice. Yeah, I really like this one. It's got a higher starting bid, but I actually prefer that because, you know, people will put the reserves on there and you don't know where it's at. So some people are more reluctant to bid for whatever reason because they just feel like it's a waste of time, I guess. I don't share that, but that's just what happens. This female here, though, being Blackhead Confusion Mojave Het Clown. Another one where, you know, if you want to work a clown project with some really cool genes that you just don't see all that much unless you go to a big show. I know that I've seen some blackheads at local shows. I mean, the Confusion is hardly super duper rare, but at least around us, I don't see very many people producing it right yet anyways. That could change anytime though, but this would be a really good one. Confusion clowns are so cool. Their bellies are just so awesome. So third pick is a Blackhead Confusion Clown clutch make. There you go. This is a good example of what you could create with that.
Finally got it.
What'd you get?
Chat.
Yeah, you threw me off my game. I finally got it. What'd you get? Anyways, this is really cool. This is why I love the Confusion gene, and I really need it in my life. One of the ones I'm kind of on the look for to add into my collection in when I can get it to work correctly. And yes, I want it in clown very, very badly, but I'll also take working it into other things. So I'd like to create, you see, I see this and my brain starts going like nuts. I'm seeing 5 years, 10 years from now, I'm seeing this snake, a Blackhead Confusion Monarch clown. That would be awesome, because for me, with Monarch, it's not about this. If you can see my mouse, you know, obviously these patterns are beautiful, but Monarch actually takes this and turns it into like a purple. And the blackhead ones are just, holy cow. It's like a lavenderish, like a deep mahogany. So I would love to see that in the future, if it hasn't already been done in someone's secret super collection. But just looking at this animal alone, and by the way, their bellies are nuts. Belly pattern is not something we get in ball pythons all that much, but it is bonkers. It's like hognose level when you get the confusion in the clowns, and it's so nice. It's so nice. Now, obviously, this animal is not the animal you're looking at. That's just one that you could create with this female, and she's halfway, not, well, maybe not quite halfway, but she's got some good size to her, and she looks awesome. She looks so cool, and it's why I love this contrast. So you see the blackhead and Mojave. Mojave kind of creates this like ghostly, like, and kind of lightens it up, but also darkens it. The contrast is super cool, and it works great here because you have this really dark snake, but the contrast is just fading almost perfectly. And then, like I said, that's not even counting what the confusion brings to the table. This being a het clown, this is well worth it. And like I said, some work has already been put in here for you. At 600, a little over 600 grams, this girl is going to be able to make this, the third picture, and then some, quite frankly. I immediately would love to put this to, like, holy crap. I would love to put this to my GHA spot nose clown. He happens to be het hypo too, but you know, obviously you get those shed tests in. But if I were to hit I'd be hitting a lot of great stuff. The GHA Mojave, I would almost worry that the stuff I'd hit, if I hit everything, it might be too much, quite frankly. But they could work together quite well. I'm not sure if that's ever been done, but this is well worth it in my opinion. Very cool. Lots of awesome potential out of this animal, and again, a lot of the work has already been started for you. So looks like there's a few from that breeder actually that are very nice. So let's look at this one. Same breeder, banana confusion spot nose clown. So you still get the confusion in there, and this is a visual clown though. Some bids on this one. So I'd love to see the belly. So I don't think I've seen a banana confusion clown. I don't know if the belly pattern would stay, but just a lot of awesome craziness going on in there. So I actually think this is cooler than the Batman, quite frankly, which is a spot nose leopard clown. But if you can get confusion and leopard together, they work together insanely well. So let's see. Oh, you're asking them questions.
Yeah,
Chat.
don't worry about it.
Oh, you said something about buffering, so I was worried.
There's a problem, I'll tell you.
Okay. Alright. I trust you. But yeah, a lot of awesome potential here. Honestly, was the other one hit blackhead though? I think the other one hit blackhead. Man, I just want to hit all of that together. Hit the blackhead spot nose banana. So obviously, and again, good size on all of these. This one's pretty much almost right there. You see blackhead was such a dark gene earlier, but when you put the banana and the pastel into it, it kind of just fades it out just a little bit. And this looks like it's a picture of it when it was a baby. Oh yeah, post hatch shed. So you can see it's changed a little bit, almost like a peach, like a pinkish hue. And then that pastel, I feel, is what just came in and conquered it. But it aged very well. It just lost that lavender back, but it stayed bright. It did not brown out. And you'd think that a dark gene like blackhead would maybe help that, right? It's just, you think it's dark, why wouldn't it assist in the brown out? But no, that's not the case. It's very good with contrast. And honestly, I would love to see this without the pastel, because I think it would look more like this as an adult and a little bit darker. But this is another one. These are some really cool ones, and like I said, they've got some size to them that RP Reptiles has up right now. If anybody sees anything, I can try to stop on it. by the way, if you're just like, oh, I want to see that one a little closer. Cypress Enchi. So these are cool. I love what Cypress does. I'm happy to finally have it in some of my clown projects. So normally an Enchi clown would be, this kind of almost looks just like an Enchi clown, but it has a little bit more rusty coloring to it. Cypress changes the pattern up, kind of creates a little bit more of a wonky pattern, but then brings, what I like is that, especially in clown, it creates these rusty type looks like this. Very good for creating that magma type feel that you get from like the Pompeys and such like that. So you can kind of get a little bit of that flavor coming in here, just in the coloration of the. I don't want to say reds because it's obviously not, but it's a rusty type color. So another really good one that's, what's this? Not a full. I don't know why I thought this was another breeder. So, but definitely a lot of potential there. Again, a little bit of a higher starting bid, but that means that you're not really messing around with any reserves and worrying about it. So I prefer them to start it where they're more comfortable on letting them go. Quite frankly, I think that's the way to go. But I understand reserves for sure. You know, you don't want to. I've seen some snakes go for way less than they should have because it was the wrong time of day to upload. I've seen snakes ending at like 3 or 4 in the morning that had no business to do so. And because everybody's asleep, or about to go to sleep in some cases, it's not going to get as much traction. So that's a tip for doing these auctions. There's a reason why we normally do these on the weekends, by the way, because the weekends they have a lot more action to them. There's a lot more people looking, and I think that people are starting to see that, and they upload some more of the more crazy stuff around there. At least that's in my experience. I certainly see that in my experience for bidding. If it ends on the weekend, they end higher, in my opinion. So, what are we on the 5th page here? Yeah, just one more after this. So, Pompeii Project Pair. Lots of reserves today, though. But let's see what that is all about. So. It is a male black pastel fire clown, basically to size, just very near to it, produced by Kittinger, and the female is a pastel spot nose red striped yellow belly het clown. So if you don't know, black pastel spot nose red striped yellow belly is the Pompeii, and clown. That's kind of a crucial one too, and clown. So it's a complex combo. So you have you've got 5, technically 6 genes, because clown's technically 2 on top of each other, 2 copies of the clown, and then those 4 incomplete dominants there. So obviously the male, it's a pretty cool powerhouse right there too. They did not produce either of these, but they're obviously moving on from them. There are various reasons why people do that. They just kind of have a different way that they want to go, but this male looks like he's ready to go, so he'd be able to immediately start work for you while you're raising up the female. It doesn't show a size on the female though, unfortunately, so a little bit of a missed opportunity there, but just trying to judge by this. What does it say? Should be nearly ready to breed. Maybe he's saying for the whole thing should be really nearly ready to breed. Yeah, that looks some good size comparatively. Just going by this backdrop or whatever it is. Yeah, that could be very close to being ready. So you could start going for that pretty quickly. No idea on the reserve price, but I always say just bid to what you're comfortable with. Not right away though. Don't do that right away. This is not eBay. If I put $500 on this, it's gonna shoot right up to $500. But if you were interested in something like this, there's still lots of time left. Lots of time for people to kind of keep chipping away at that. But you get to, I don't know, let's just say you're comfortable paying $750, just as an example. Throw 130 on there right now. It will remind you 1 hour before. And if you are for sure comfortable paying $750 at that last 5 minutes and it wasn't $750, type 750 in, hit enter. If the reserve price goes away, then cool. If it doesn't, yeah, well, actually, maybe walk your way up there. So try 500, then 600, until it goes away. There's a strategy there. And just try to see if it can get to an area where you're comfortable with. In the worst case scenario, it doesn't meet the reserve price. It's no big deal. It basically cancels and voids the auction. So it's not like you're responsible for anything if it doesn't meet that. They're not reaching out to you saying, oh hey, you're the next, so you have to pay for it. None of that. So but Pompeys are obviously awesome. One of the more hot animals that I hear everybody trying to create, yours included. So just a more this I absolutely love banana clowns. I think the Enchi is kind of well, you can see it, the GHI a bit, but the Enchi is definitely dominating this for the most part. So banana Enchi GHI clown being in a female though, another one from RP Reptiles. So maybe you could just get a bunch from there and keep your shipping costs low. But banana Enchi clowns are just so awesome in general. Just a lot of beauty there. Like I said, the banana Enchi clown was the snake that I saw from Garrick DeMeyer. I think he was showing it, and that's where I was just like, yeah, I need to start creating animals like that, and that was where I started breeding. So a lot of people, I feel, have a story similar to that. So I don't know what was your guys' snake when you saw a snake, if you are breeding, that you saw that made you say, hey, I need to create that, but I don't have X amount of money. So that was basically it for me, was the banana clowns. It was just, at the time they were still absolutely insanely priced, and I was like, well, I don't mind making it myself. So
Yeah.
let's see. What's this? Justin shouted out some of your stuff on RGO. Oh, that's awesome.
I didn't know he was going to be on that video.
Are you talking about Justin Kabelka? Or... Right. We'll keep moving around. I didn't know. Oh, wait. Hang on. Can we go live on the live?
I don't know if they use copyrighted music. Probably
Yeah, we'll be safe. Because I know he's been on there before, but I think no, I know who they're. Well, thank you very much to RGI. Just did GHI vid. So yes, I kind of knew they were doing something with GHI. So that is really cool that they kind of showed some of that stuff off. I'll have to definitely check that out afterwards. I knew that they were going to do something, but I didn't know exactly what, and I definitely didn't know that he was going to be there. So I will definitely check that out here in a bit. I wish I could just go live right now, but YouTube is kind of just in case they use something music-wise. I don't want to feel getting the slap on the hand from YouTube.
If you play copyrighted music on a YouTube live stream, they just shut off the live stream.
Yeah, so I don't want that.
We license all of our music.
Yeah, so whatever. I don't hear what you guys are hearing right now, because that would also make me hear me, and then I would be more of a stuttering mess than I already am. So, oh, another monarch. Boy this time, but het red xanthic. Het monarch, and it's proven. So if you wanted to start working that for cheaper, right? No interest yet, but it looks like it just got updated. So let's take a look. Chill bang. I'm glad you like the music. Thank you. Well, my brother sets all that stuff up. But yeah, so there we go. Sometimes the initial pictures don't load correctly. So something to think about when you're uploading your pictures, by the way, is that some people will look at this and not really understand and be like, what on earth is this, right? Just the way it uploads is just not great. So something to consider. Definitely give yourself a little bit of room if you're uploading pictures on the top and bottom. I see a lot of stuff where just sometimes the pictures make it. I mean, you can make a normal look like a superstar. like for real. So yeah, the pictures is not something to take for granted. So, but this animal is really cool. I'm not as super familiar with het red exanthic. I do believe that I think that was the one that they were trying to prove because it's called HRA for short sometimes. And recently I saw a video. I don't remember who it was from, unfortunately. I wish I could call it out. DPR, cold-blooded something. But they proved out that het red exanthic is not the same as gorilla, which is an upcoming gene. So I really like the gorilla gene. I would very much like to eventually get into that. I'm exploring, maybe even doing it this year. Don't know for sure, but they thought for a bit that they might be the same thing, which would be fairly substantial because there's more het red exanthics out there. And it's not like that's a super duper rare one. Whereas gorilla is very ground level right now. In fact, it's not even released. And if you type in Morphmarket gorilla, you're not going to find anything. Well, you will on the forums, but you won't find it for sale anywhere. So it's a protected project right now. Very, very ground level, but it's not the same as this. And there's a lot of different combos. They don't even do the same thing when they're in combos. So that was something that made me feel pretty good. Not that I don't love this snake, by the way. I just when I'm thinking about working into Monarch, ironically, I would gorilla is out in the EU. So that's a good point. When I would search it, I did not search it, I don't think, by all the categories. So I didn't search it by not categories, but by region. Yeah. So I'll have to take I can do that right now here in a second. But yeah, they're not the same gene. So if you were looking into the gorilla gene, it's not something you really need to worry about. That it ends up being something that's quite a bit cheaper, I'm sure, to get into. So yeah, pictures 101, by the way. Just make sure you give yourself a little bit of room on the borders so that it fits well. But again, some good potential here. This is just get a bid. Is this one of you? It did just get a bid. I'm almost positive when I clicked on this it was 0. But yeah, I want visuals, especially in my males. I have a visual, but I also have a male here that's het monarch. He's also blackhead, and that is why I picked him up. It's very unideal that I'm gonna have to go and use a snake to breed a male het to, and it's just one pairing, by the way, that I'm gonna try to do that too. But I really want to get blackhead into the Monarch project, and that is why I picked him up, because I got him for a great deal. Also, not in one of these auctions. I actually got him in an in-person auction from Best Dress Balls, and he's awesome. And I need him to start eating for me so that he can get a little bit more size. He's basically the size. I know he's already producing sperm plugs, but that's why I bought him, was to get that gene in there. So if you wanted to work one that still has a very valid use, this het red exanthic, into Monarch, this could be doing that for you. And he's already proven. So there you go. Looks like he's quick to lock up. Yeah, just a good potential to get into monarchs that are not just monarchs. Producing just monarchs is very cool, don't get me wrong, but if you want to add a little bit more spice to it, this would be a good way to do that. Although, obviously you're sacrificing the visual to do so in this case, but you're also not sacrificing as much cash. So just the fact of the matter. So Canada getting mine. Yeah, that's who I know them from in Canada. They're at the Tinley shows, so they were supposed to be at this last one, but I think something happened and they weren't able to make it. I was very sad. So I'm hoping October that they're there, so and I can start talking about that. So I think we're moving on to our last page here. And I'll kind of show, I'll actually go back and show that gorilla in there, so. Proven breeder right here, if this is something. See, I just made pied het albinos. In fact, it's our last video we just released out there. I think they're awesome. And when I bought into that project, it was a long time ago, and I bought breeders just because I wanted a cheat code and immediately get right into it. And I bought those from Garrett DeMeyer and had them, and that was some of the first things I created. I still create them to this day, so but they've come down quite a bit in price to become more affordable. They're not $1,000 a pop for a baby or whatever. So you know, it's this, but they're still up there. They're still nice snake that can now be afforded at both the breeding level and the pet level. So I think it's really cool. If you're into that, this would be another good way to create awesome things for a little bit of lower cost, I think. Desert Ghost things. I haven't shown Desert Ghost enough love on here. So, beautiful pair. Mahogany head clown. Look at this one. I'm here to end it off, so. Why is Canova's picture on there? Oh, because he bought it from there. Okay, I made me worried for a second. I'm like, no. Alright, that makes more sense now. I was a little concerned there for a bit. I was like, please don't be one of them people. Oh, I recognize them. Yeah. Okay. So a male ODYB, which is orange stream yellow belly, leopard blackhead clown. So a lot going on there. Was bought from Canova and is basically to size. And a female that is also very close to size, mahogany 100% het clown. So this would be a really cool combo to create. The leopard blackhead, the orange stream yellow belly. It would be a lot of contrast there, lots of brights and darks at the same time, because it would accentuate everything. It would make the darks really dark and it would brighten up the sides. Just a lot going on in there. And you know, I love the blackhead gene, so I'm glad that that's not a copy. Just for a second there, I was like, we're not going to talk about that. And I did want to click on this one, though, too, just because I haven't shown what Desert Ghost enough love here. This one, not being an actual Desert Ghost, but a het Desert Ghost and a female. And no bids on it yet. It probably just got uploaded within the last, maybe even before I started this video. So, cinnamon, pewter, leopard. So usually when you get cinnamon and pastel, they call it pewter, by the way. So, but a lot of cool potential there. If you hit the Desert Ghost, it's going to change what this animal looks like drastically, because it'll keep these darks. It'll clean up everything you're seeing kind of fade up here, and just really brighten the animal. And pastel and Desert Ghost go well together. Cinnamon and leopard especially, it really darkens the darks. So you're going to see a really dark, but high contrast animal, just really sharp, cleaned up animal from this. Like if you were to hit the visual version of this, is what I'm saying. So if you like Desert Ghost, if this price stays even close to this, that would be a really good one to add to your collection to start working into a Desert Ghost project. So, all right. There been any questions for anybody? I'm gonna show off some.
A bunch of chatmats just came in. Yeah, that was looking away.
Gorilla. Oh, I should probably.
There we go.
So I wanted to show off. This is who I saw the video from, by the way, and this is who was coming to. Why you have this in such crap quality?
Oh, that's just the default. They definitely can't hear the audio on that, by the way.
They can?
Cannot.
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 Good. That's what we want. So, here is your gorilla gene. And this is who I seen at the Tinley show. And who I hope to speak to. About potentially getting into this project. So, is it trying to... Let's skip around here. So, it's some of the more dark genes I've ever seen. It's like you've got a GHI gorilla up here, and when it does it though, is it doesn't annihilate the light colors though, and that's what I love. A lot of times when you get a dark gene into something, it'll annihilate a lot of the other coloring, which is unfortunate. But the contrast here is so stark. Look at that. Look how clean the black is. And then by contrast, ironically, the pattern is not clean. It looks distorted and messed up, like something out of a horror movie. Very cool. Very cool, because you go now from a contrast of color, because these are bright colors, next to something that's very, very dark. And then it's clean versus not clean. So you have contrast of color and contrast of clean to dirty, or chaotic. That's the word I like to use more like. Very cool. And then you have pattern here that's clean, pattern that's not. It just does a lot. I think this is the blackhead, gorilla blackhead. Look at that. But again, it's not just black. Now, if this was an all black snake, you'd say that this was the super black pastel. It's just as dark, but it's not, because it has the pattern, it has the eye stripe, it has everything in there. It doesn't wash out the pattern. Look at this. Just really dark, but still has the normal kind of pattern in there. The head clown? Oh, it's a clown version on the tag. So, but yeah, that's the gorilla gene. I am in love with this gene. Yeah, I've kind of heard some of the costs and such, but I don't know 100%. That's why I want to have a conversation with them, and I'm hoping that I can eventually get into that myself. So I'm trying to look up the YouTube, for RGA just to see.
Turn Spotify down slightly.
Yeah, where is it? This one right here?
Yes.
Tell me when.
A little bit more.
Good.
A little bit more.
There.
That might do. Yeah.
It might do. Okay. It might do. All right. It's good to know that this music isn't coming in, basically. So why is it not looking them up? Type in their name. Oh, what did I do? I moved something. I messed something up. I'm so sorry.
How did you manage to unlock?
I don't know. I'm just trying to scooch the thing around.
I locked this specifically to make sure you wouldn't be able to do that.
All I did was try to move the thing.
There,
That's
it's
all
fine
I'm saying. See what I'm saying? I can't be trusted with technology. So, oh, that's cool. That's right now. Or no, that's not live. What the? Why did it just zoom right to it?
Oh, because I opened up on this computer for a second.
You okay? Yeah, that's a girl that we have right now. Not this one. This is our new. Oh shoot! I just spoiled the video. Please still watch. But this girl right here. Gosh darn it! Okay, we're just gonna let it play.
So there's more than 2 snakes, so that's more of a sneak peek than anything.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, there we go. This is one of my pride and joys that I have here. So, and honestly, we couldn't get this picture is a little misleading, ironically. She's even sharper, and she's since aged a bit and has so much power to her. GHI is one of my absolute favorite genes. The only thing this is missing to being a Pompeii, by the way, is spot nose gene, which is what I am going to be working on. Probably not this year. She's not quite to size yet. She's about 1,000 grams, I think. But next year, I'm really hoping that she keeps eating and goes. But I've got her here right now, and I am just beyond the moon excited about what I'm going to be able to do with her. I've shown her on the channel before, but easily one of my pride and joys. And there's a lot of different potentials there. I think that that GHI being in the Pompeii is I mean, I've seen certain ones out there, but the male inbreeding has some other genes in there too, so including GHI. I don't know how the super GHI Pompeii will look, but if I hit it, I'll let you know, obviously. So that is really cool. So this is one of our boys that we actually got from Justin, so iconic that he's there talking about it. wonder if I'm sure he doesn't recognize it. That would be kind of very weird, actually. And be like, yeah, I recognize that snake.
Given how many snakes he works with, yeah.
That would be crazy. But either way, I got this one. He's a proven breeder male. He's a GHI spot nose clown. He's actually het hypo too. So very cool opportunities what I'm doing with him to trying to create some hypo clowns and whatnot. So hypo is one of those that I kind of just stumbled into as a project. Just kind of, again, I very much admit that I was one of those people that kind of just thought that hypo was, I wouldn't say I thought it was like old, but I mean I heard it a lot, but just kind of looked at it and then like, okay, it just kind of makes them look like they're in shed. That's when I first started, but since then my eyes have been opened. They are very bright animals. They exude light. It's almost like they have light coming out of them. I absolutely love what the hypo does. Now this is not a hypo, but I am breeding him to try to create the visual hypo clowns with quite a bit more ingredients, obviously, as you can see here. I love the GHI hypos, by the way, which is kind of where I'm going. They look mossy. They're one of the closest to green that you see. Now, everybody always says green snakes, of course, right? Because that's the stereotype. But there are no green ball pythons. Not really, anyways. But this GHI hypos, a lot of these have like a greenish hue. I mean, he even kind of sort of flirts with it himself. So when you get the hypo in there, it really does it. So, but with that being said, it's really cool that they're calling off. So I really appreciate that. And we love RGI. It's a fantastic service and company that they a service that they provide, and a fantastic partner. So doing just such great things. Have really just changed everything. Shed testing has changed absolutely everything. There's no going back. No, gone are the days of having to put 3 years into a project just to find out that it never had it. You can basically find that out now in most combos, and it's eventually the goal is really just everything. So I know they're just super hard at work, just always trying to add stuff. So, but yeah, give this jump over to here. I saw this about how some GHI het clowns always have this red spot. They're kind of talking about this. And that is a very interesting topic. So give this video a watch. We'll just kind of hand it off, I guess. Jump over to here, finish watching this video, because there's a lot of cool stuff you can learn when it comes to this genetics. So, but we're gonna go ahead and call it there. Any other questions? I don't think so. Yeah, I think we're good. So, again,
give him a minute.
Oh yeah, I guess you're right. Give it a little bit. Mine's not updating, by the way.
Is it really not?
No. I just realized that looking over at yours. So, again, thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We really appreciate it. Appreciate everybody kind of just always showing us support and whatnot. So, very cool. I think we're just, like I said, you're just going to keep seeing how these work out. I can't promise I'll do this every single week. I definitely am going to want to see interesting snakes, to do the auction thing, but maybe we'll figure other ways to kind of go about doing live streams every now and again. So, because it's going to be a lot of fun. So, yeah, I've seen it slept on hypo too for the same reason. Yeah, it's the same thing. Once you start seeing all these combos, though, it really opens your eyes. So, but all right, I'm going to call it there. Appreciate again everybody joining in. This time I'm going to hit the mute button so we're not fumbling like we did last time. So, all right, peace out. Everybody have a great night.